Don't miss out on the last few weeks of football action with Prize Picks, the best place to win cash while watching the playoffs. The app is simple. Pick more or less on at least 2 players for a shot to win up to 1,000 times your cash. Download the Prize Picks Daily Fantasy Sports app today and use code Spotify and get $50 instantly when you play $5. That's code Spotify on Prize Picks to get $50 instantly when you play $5. You don't even need to win to receive the $50 bonus. It's guaranteed. Prize Picks. Run your game. Must be present in certain states. Visit prizepicks.com for restrictions and details.
This podcast is the Robots Radio Rocket Club, a program designed to help all podcasts reach their full potential. For information about joining the Robots Radio Rocket Club, check out robotsradio.net.
Welcome to the Gundam Lorecast, where we take a deep dive into the Mobile Suit Gundam series, such as the multiple timelines, mobile suits, characters, and so much more. Welcome back, pilots, to another episode of the Gundam Lorecast. Almost a completely different podcast right there, because I do way too many. I am one of your hosts, Brandon, or also known as Ben of Temeria, and always with me is my fellow friend and pilot, Jesse.
How's it going?
It is going. I mean, we're both in a state where we just got hit with a lot of snow. I'm more north than you, so I didn't get as bad.
We got so much.
But you were snowed in. But we are here with another mobile suit this week. After a 2-week hiatus because of the holidays and everything. So it's good to be back. Good to be talking about Gundam again. And we are going over everyone's favorite mobile suit, Gundam Barbatos. Oh boy, this mobile suit.
I love it. It looks so cool and so weird, and I love it so much.
It's fantastic. I love it so much. So, the ASW-G-08 Gundam Barbatos is the main mobile suit in the first season of the Mobile Suit Gundam Iron Blooded Orphans anime, and it's piloted by Mizuzuki August. And it's also, season 2 as well, not just season 1.
Season 2, I think they consider it a new one because it's the Lupus.
Oh, good point. It is technically, that's a good point. It's technically a different mobile suit. It's an upgraded.
Very technically.
Very technically, right? So
barely,
just barely, yeah. Moving into the technology and combat characteristics, the ASW-G-08 Gundam Barbatos is one of 72 Gundam frames that was produced and used in the Calamity War roughly 300 years ago. After it was recovered, the Christ Guard security used it as a power reactor. Aside from the fact that the AHAB reactors were still functional and was done mainly because the Barbatos cockpit was missing when it was found, a new cockpit similar to one used in the CGS mobile workers was installed prior to the redeployment by the third group. Poor maintenance over the centuries since the Calamity War had degraded the Barbatos' armor and full combat potential. This is later rectified by the Talwaz technicians, who only restored the Barbatos to its original look, but also returned it back to its performal close to its original. Yeah, I mean, 300 years takes a lot of toll on a mobile suit.
Definitely does.
So, I mean,
it's a long time to sit.
Right, right, and used as a battery. Yeah. No less. It was used as a freaking battery. Ugh. So, Gundam units like the Barbatos were able to achieve high energy output because they possessed the 2 air reactors. However, because it was difficult to run them in a parallel operation, only a total of 72 Gundam frames were ever produced. The burden experienced by the pilot is high as a result of the high output and maneuverability. However, it's mitigated by the implementation of the inherent control due to the use of air particles generated from the reactor when a phase transition occurs inside the vacuum device. The cockpit structure is positioned in front of the reactor to take advantage of this. Among the same frame machines, the Gundam Barbatos has been adjusted for the for an emphasis on its versatility, it was a potential to adapt to every circumstances by exchanging its equipment. It also used weapons and armor from defeated enemies to improve its fighting capabilities. Oh, that was a lot. But so essentially, like, when you first see the Barbatos, it has very barely any armor, like, at all. And
it has like nothing.
Right. And the longer the season goes, you'll see Mitsuzuki get new equipment for the Barbatos and armor by the defeated enemies that he took down. Yes. Because in the anime, in the show, they're on Mars. That's where they're primarily located at the get-go. And they don't have they don't have resources at all to do anything. So they had to use everything they could in this, being as resourceful for them to use, weapons and armor and such to, have them survive. Because Iron Blooded Orphans is a very dark anime in the Gundam universe.
It's so dark.
It's probably one of the dark, if not the darkest. It's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. I would say Witch of Mercury is also pretty dark. It's pretty up there because the fact that you find out how the Gundam Ariel was created, it's pretty messed up.
There's some pretty dark things in a lot of.
And it's mainly the newer stuff, not much as the old, but more the new.
I will say, Word of Pocket got pretty dark.
Well, that's fair. I mean, there was a lot of dark stuff in the older shows as well, but like a lot of the new stuff is like, hey, Iron Blooded Orphans is literally Iron Blooded Orphans, I would say, is the darkest Gundam series because it's literal child soldiers.
Yeah.
Compared to where in the old anime, they're child soldiers. Well, he's 17, so technically he's not a child. Mitsuzuki's like 13.
Yeah.
He is a child. He's literally a kid. And there's actual children too fighting. You see children die in war in the first episode.
Yeah, it's really messed up.
It's brutal. But moving on, we do have the armaments of the Barbatos. So we do have its awesome, gigantic mace. The Makabura RK CGS president had considered using the Barbatos in battle and had kept some equipment for it. The mace is one of them. It is a large physical weapon made of high hardness, rare alloy that is also used in mobile suit frames. As mobile suits use a laminate armor. Is that how you say that? Nano-laminate armor for protection, such as striking weapons. Striking weapons are considered not to be effective. The center of the mace features a pile driver mechanism that fires a needle, a large spike rod from the tip when activated. And when this is often used for piercing the enemy mobile suit, the mace's handle is telescopic, making it be able to store on the back and on the backpack arm when not in use. Used by the first form up to the fifth form, it was lost during the atmospheric entry battle with the Gundam Kiramis and was left floating in Earth's orbit. Yeah, we see Mitsuzuki use this in the first and second episode of Iron Blooded Orphans, and yeah, it's brutal.
He uses it a lot early on.
Yeah, he uses, because it's like one of the only weapons he has very early is the mace, and that's it. And then if you go and watch the show, you'll notice something very, very different compared to other anime from other Gundam series, is there's no beam weaponry. Very, very rare beam weaponry in this series. It's mainly all ballistics, which is typically not. It's mainly beam weapons in most anime.
It's a very strange thing for a Gundam series to not have beam weapons or beam swords or any of that.
Yeah, it's all ballistic and steel and conventional weapons that we have today, which is very interesting. We have his long sword, which is awesome, by the way. A mobile suit used sword shaped like a katana. It was created in the factory within Tawa's base, Sasi. is easy to handle due to its light weight, and it shows its superiority. God, words today. During localized attacks. The sword's grips is later improved to fit Barbatos' hands better to help minimize the kinetic energy loss when using the weapon. Due to the high strength of the nanolaminate armor, the sword's slashes are ineffective, unless Mitsuzuki is forced to aim for the gaps within the enemy's mobile suit's armor with the help of the Alana Vinyaga system. Is that how you say that? Alana Vinyaga?
It's like Alaya Vinyana or something like that. It's a weird word.
It's like half Spanish. The
That's
longsword
the problem.
Yeah. Well, not was
Not
us
that it's
being
Spanish. It's the problem
that
that
we
it's
can't speak
half
it,
that and we don't speak Spanish.
There you go. Just to
There's
clarify.
nothing wrong with it being Spanish.
Just to
The
clarify
only
that.
issue is I don't speak Spanish, and half of the word is not Spanish.
Right. So the longsword primarily functions as a backup melee weapon when the mace or the large special mace is available, as Mitsuzuki finds it hard to use. However, in the battle with the Graz ends, Mitsuzuki finally masters the weapon, as shown is able to slash through the both mobile suit armor and the frame in a single attack. The longsword can be stored in the backpack and arm when not in use, used with the fourth form and onwards. So used it from the fourth form and on. Which we'll talk about the forms later, for anybody confused about the Barbatos forms when I talk about it. So we have the Gauntlet, which is already equipped when Barbatos was discovered on Mars. It's thought to be one of Barbatos' original equipment, but it was not complete certainly. Used only by the first form and second form, the Gauntlet was lost when it was ejected alongside the rest of the left forearm armor during the battle with Gallahorn forces near the Mars' low orbital station. Which I can't remember what the Gauntlet was.
I don't 100% remember, but I feel like it wasn't really used that much as a weapon. It was more used to block.
I think you're right. Now we have this smoothbore gun. So it's a 300 millimeter caliber gun used mainly in zero gravity environment and space, emphasis which was placed on power rather than accuracy. The high speed maneuvers of the enemy mobile suits in space further made it difficult to use for the smoothbore gun to hit them with high accuracy, but this was overcome thanks to the Aliana Vinyana system. The high bullet speed fired from the smoothbore gun was occasionally shot off the armor pieces of enemy mobile suits and even penetrated the nano laminate armor. The weapon also has a 60 millimeter machine gun at the bottom. It can be folded up and mounted on the suit's backpack arm when not in use. The unfolded gun can be used while still mounted thanks to the design of the backpack arms. Its machine holds 12 rounds, and it's used by the second form to the fifth. Yeah, pretty cool.
And by the way, looking at it, that gauntlet was the shield.
Oh, was it? Okay, cool. And the smoothbore gun is a giant.
It's so big.
It's a giant gun. It's massive.
It might as well
You can
be a
get it in
sniper
GB4, and it's like longer than it. Like will clip down towards the ground because it's so long.
Yeah, it's awesome.
We have now the GR ESO2 Wire Claw. So used only by the third form, it is a shooting claw weapon mounted on the left forearm that is used to restrain enemy mobile suits as well as clinging to enemy vessels. Is taken from Galio's Shazwalb Grays and replaces the Lost Gauntlet. Yeah. We have the Arm Mortar, a weapon originally designed for the Kutan Type 3, is also used by mobile suits. 2 mortars can be stored on each of the Barbatos' forearms. When in use, the mortar can be flipped forward for firing. Once the first mortar is launched, the second mortar slides up. The mortar launcher then flips back, and the second mortar is loaded. Although seen in use only by the fifth form, the arm mortars can also be used by the fifth form ground type or the sixth form if required.
Just to note that Kutan is essentially a ship. It's literally a transport ship. And they just strap the mortars onto
the Barbatos.
On
because
Barbatos.
they had to be resourceful because they have no money.
Yeah.
to buy fancy things. They have
Especially
to play
season 1, they are poor.
Yeah, they are broke as shit. Um, Now we have the 170 millimeter autocannon. So depending on the situation, the 4 arm mortars can be replaced by a pair of autocannons that use electrical magazines. The autocannon's barrels extend when in use. Due to the limited ammunition, they are unsuitable for long-range shooting battle, but highly effective when used in close combat. Used by the 5th form ground type onwards. Yeah.
170 is still so big.
It's it's massive. It's massive. Meaning, like, you know, I don't know how big of a bullet we have. Like, I have a giant casing from a ship, like, fired from a naval ship. It's freaking huge.
I have some casings back here. 170 is big.
Yeah, it's big. It's very big. It makes a person go boom, and splat into nothingness.
More than a person.
Yeah, right. I know. Now we have the large special mace, which is a replacement for the original mace after it was lost during the atmospheric entry battle, and it was nicknamed the wrench mace. Besides functioning as an excellent striking weapon, the front position of the wrench mace was open up and clamp onto an enemy unit tightly. A special chainsaw hidden in the Briton's front portion of the mace can be then sliced apart of the enemy unit. Used by the 5th form ground type onwards, and can be stored on the backpack arm when not in use. The mace was destroyed in the combat by the Graz Ends during the battle in Edmonton, yeah, which is the final one of the final. It's the final battle in season 1.
Yeah, the wrench mace is cool.
Oh yeah, it's super cool. Yeah, and I mean, honestly, you could use the wrench head as a shield if you really wanted to. Which
it was so big.
I think he did.
I think he blocked something with it. Yeah.
So, but with that being said, let's take a quick mid break. Thank our listeners, and we'll be right back.
It's a Gundam!
All right, welcome to the Middle Show. We're talking about everything podcast. Has nothing to do with the lore of Gundam. Here, we want to thank all of our listeners listening to the show. Thank you guys so much for supporting the show and listening. And if you want to support the show, you can go to Apple and Spotify. Leave a 5-star review on Apple with some words. We're to out loud the next time on the show, as well as nice Spotify comments, which I know we have a Spotify comment this week. Let me just double check on Apple real quick. And oh wow, we do. Holy crap. We have 5-star on Apple. Show Me Zero by TJ Bridges. Loving the show. Keep up the pod. I discovered this show while listening to the Robots Radio Holiday Pod on the Mass Effect Lorecast. I binged 2/3 of the show in less than a week. 2/3 of the show in less than a week. Wish I could have been a listener from Jump. This is shedding some light on some of the manga suits and stories that I'm not aware of. Just never really got into manga. Brandon and Jesse are fun. I like the opinions they take on the Gundam metaverse or multiverse. If listeners are ever invited to hop on and talk Gundam, I hope I can join in. I would love for you to see the collaborate with Kakarot 197 from YouTube. He's a Gundam encyclopedia and thinks you guys would make magic. Looking forward to more to come. I would have to look this guy up. Kakarot 197.
I will need to do that too. So.
And then we also have Jordan on our Atlas Gundam episode. Telling us great show on every episode and really appreciate the love on Atlas Gundam. Really hope this show gets as popular as the Witcher Lorecast. P.S. All my homies hate Lien. Hey, Triss lovers. There we go. I love that. That's amazing. If nobody knows, go listen to the Witcher Lorecast. I'm a diehard. I love Triss. Then again, I love redheads. But I love Triss.
I'm toxic, so I love Yen. Sorry.
I'm sorry. Yen's toxic.
Yeah, well,
she treats
it is what it
like
is.
a dog. But anyway, yes, thank you guys supporting the show. And yes, that is something. If anybody wants to hop on the show to join us, At some point, I will be making a Patreon for the show, so where you can join us on Patreon. And if you join a specific tier, you'll be able to join us once a week on the show, talk about anything Gundam that you want to choose. So that is something that I'll be working on here probably for the next couple of weeks. So stay tuned when I make that announcement. But other than that, you can also find us on a few different Discord servers, the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, where you can find a bunch of holiday specials and a bunch of other great shows. And you can find us also on my Discord, the Ben and Friends Podcasting Discord, where you can find this show and all the other plethora of shows I host, which are Holocron History, Star Wars Canon vs. Legends, the Final Fantasy Lorecast, the Wizarding World Lorecast, and the Witcher Lorecast. So go check those out. Great stuff, great fun. Apparently I have multiple listeners who listen to all my shows, so this I just love hearing that, and thank you guys for giving us the kind words, because of that it helps me keep doing what I do, and I really love doing this. The plan is to do podcasting full time and also to do voice acting full time, to where I don't have to leave my house, which would be fantastic. So thank you for all the kind support. But with that being said, let's get back to more Barbatos. All right. Now we're back from the mid-break. We are now getting into his forms. So
many.
He has a lot. We have the first form, which is what we first see in Iron Blooded Orphans. So Barbatos was in this form when the Maraba Arche discovered in Mars' desert 300 years after the Calamity War. Since its Arab reactors were still in operational state, it was used as the CGS's headquarters power source until Mitsuzuki boarded it. At the time, it did not have any shoulder armor.
It literally looks like a frame in first form.
It literally
a frame
looks like
with a head.
Yep. And what's really cool is when Mitsuzuki gets into the Barbatos and when they install the cockpit and everything, everybody you see in the show don't really have any. They're not literate, so they don't really know how to read and write.
Mm-hmm.
So nobody knows what anything says on the onboard computer for Barbatos. But when Mitsuzuki hops in the cockpit and they use the Ayana Vinyata system, and which hooks into his back, he then is able to read and understand everything in the cockpit, and he knows the name of the Gundam, which is Barbatos, which kind of somewhat simulates there's maybe a sentience to Barbatos. So in the second form, we have CGS was later reformed into Tekkadan. Prior to Tekkadan's departure to Earth, the Barbatos' first form is fitted with shoulder armor from the captured EB-06 Greys. These shoulder armors are the same white and blue scheme as the main body and is painted with the same nano-laminate armor. So, she was given shoulder armor. That's the second form. Third form, after the battle with Galahorn near the low orbital station, the Barbatos' second form is equipped with a wire claw capture from the Gallardo's Schwab's Greys to fix the damaged left forearm armor, which Iron Blooded Orphans uses Spanish and German, in their wordings with things.
It's like anything or most of the things that tend to be on the side of the heroes are in some form of Spanish or Spanish adjacent.
Yes. And by Spanish, we mean Spain.
Yes.
Because it's all Spain style kind of a thing.
And then the villains like Galahorn get that.
Yeah.
German
style, yeah. Its fourth form, so Barbatos' original form, is reproduced by technicians at Tawawa's base, Sasi, based on ancient material from the time of the Calamity War that has been recorded in their database. The machine's weight balance is stabilized, and the two reactors' output and operation rate are also improved after extensive maintenance and overhaul. While Barbatos' performance is now closer to its original state, is still not yet at 100%. So, Not too much different. It was just updated, and probably and it was gained a little bit more armor too.
Yeah.
Due to that. The fifth form, a new form that was added waist boosters, redesigned forearm armor with mortars, and chest-mounted reactive armor. Some of the new parts were provided by the Montag company. The waist booster servers increased the suit's mobility and were originally the hip-mounted flight units of Iron's Swaps Greys. Tekkadan recovered the parts while they were dislodged from the swaps grades during the earlier battle. The reactive armor serves as a countermeasure against the Chromatus hit-and-run attacks with its Gungnir lance. And there's, more European stuff in it. Gungnir is Nordic,
Yep.
based off of Odin's spear. So, there's that.
Yes.
We have the fifth form ground type. So this is an updated version of the fifth form, a modified version of the fifth form for ground combat. It was created with the help of the Echo Turbine and again used parts provided by the Montag company. The leg suspension was adjusted and adapted to the Earth's gravity, and the new feet were also used. As a result of this, the suit now has a higher center of gravity, lending a faster reaction and less better mobility under gravity. The added waist thrusters were removed and they were deemed useless for ground combat, and the forearm mortars can be exchanged with autocannons. Yeah. Pretty cool stuff.
I feel like
And then
before we get to the fifth form ground type version, a lot of the fighting early on is in space.
Yeah.
Aside from that first battle,
besides the first battle on Mars, everything's pretty much in space.
So there's a reason why there wasn't a real ground type until
right, and why it's stable, the stabilizers didn't need to really be fixed because there was nothing to plant his feet on.
No, he didn't need them.
So yeah, it was mainly all space battles. And then we now have the final in sixth form of the original Barbatos, because its Lupus version is separate completely, which we'll talk about probably in a different episode. So sixth form, a reinforced version of the fifth form ground type for the final battle. The side skirt armor was replaced with a pair of tail boosters. The shoulder armor pieces were replaced with those of the EB-06R Grey's Ritter, and additional armor was added to the chest. The tail boosters improve the suit's ground mobility and have reduced fuel consumption. The added chest armor provides the cockpit with better protection from concentrated attacks and can withstand prolonged battle. Although the new armor reduces the suit's mobility, they also allow the Barbatos to battle for prolonged periods without any resupply. When equipped, the shoulder armors can be ejected and used as a decoy. Yeah.
Convenient.
Oh, absolutely. So, now we get into special equipment and features. Obviously, we have the Alana Vinyana system, which is a unique system specifically with Iron Blooded Orphans. It's an organic device system. This old man-machine interface was developed during the Calamity War to maximize the abilities of mobile suits. Hence, most mobile suits from that era, like the Gundam, are compatible with it. The system has two parts. One part is installed in the mobile suit. The other part is implanted into the pilot's spine. Yeah. It's another reason why this is probably one of the darkest Gundam series, because all the kids and everything you see are, experimented on and put specifically this system in their spines. And Mizuzuki went through it twice.
Yeah.
So, with this system, the pilot can connect to the mobile suit's computer directly process mobile suit data. It allows the pilot, even uneducated ones, to operate mobile suits with combat without reading the instruction manual, and can make difficult weapons like the Barbatos' longsword and the smoothbore gun much easier to use. The implant in the pilot also enhances spatial awareness. The drop into technical capabilities after the Calamity War coupled with the use of incomplete versions of the system in the outer sphere areas, such as Mars and Jupiter, led to the implant surgery having low success rate and it can only be done at a young age and let the implant fuse to the pilot grow. As the Barbatos' original cockpit was missing, it was fitted with the Alana Vignana system interface from a mobile worker to allow the system to function. The Barbatos Alana Vignana system can transmit higher than the usual amount of data to the pilot, as its limiter was switched off for Mizuzuki's use, thus only he can pilot the Gundam without any problem. Yeah. And oh boy, does he.
Yeah. Mikazuki might as well be the new type of this show.
Oh, absolutely. Like, well, you know how in Double O where Setsuna F. Seihei constantly says, I am Gundam, or I am the Gundam, or whatnot? Mitsuzuki is literally that in this show. Like, he
is the Gundam.
He is the Gundam. Like, him and Barbatos are one. Like, he is Iron Man. We do have a backpack arm. There are 2 backpack arms on the Barbatos' backpack, one each side of the back thruster. The backpack arms can mount weapons, and thus hidden joint arms are deployed. Some weapons, such as the smoothbore gun, can be used while still mounted, which is pretty cool. We have the JEEM 103 Kutan Type 3, so it's a long-distance transport craft/booster used to transport containers and mobile suits. It can travel at extremely high speeds and thus traverse great distances in a short amount of time. It's used by Mitsuzuki and Nadi to catch up to the Isaribi, because they stayed behind at Setsei to help the Barbatos' overhaul.
I want to say that's one of the Teiwa's ships.
Yeah. The Kutan, you mean? Which we talked about?
Isaribi.
Oh, Isaribi.
Like they're trying to catch up to Isaribi.
Yeah. I can't remember that.
Don't remember. It might be the Tekkaden ship. It is. It's the Tekkaden ship.
Okay. Yeah, because they had to stay behind and they were, I think they were getting attacked right when they showed up.
Yeah.
If I recall. And like Barbatos came out all with new armor and everything and looked all shiny and new and kicked a bunch of ass. So
yeah, looked awesome.
Then we also have the chest reactive armor. Additional armor mounted on the chest is used by the Barbatos 5th form. The chest reactive armor was created by Nadi Yukinojo Kasapa as a countermeasure against the Kermis hit and run attacks with its Gunneer Lance. It can endure a hit from the Gunneer and will be purged immediately after, thus repelling the attack. Barbatos can use the chance to hold onto the lance to prevent further attacks. It was mainly used as a decoy.
I feel like I didn't recognize his name, even though I know exactly who it is looking at him, because I feel like they call him Old Man a lot.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's the mechanic.
Yeah. It's the mechanic from the get-go of the series. Absolutely. Yeah, they just call him Old Man majority of the time. They don't call him by name. And now let's get into the history of Barbatos. So the Gundam Barbatos is the 8th of the 72 Gundam frames created by Galahorn near the end of the Calamity War to counter the threat of the powerful mobile armor such as the Hashmal. It was later discovered by Amaraba Arke in the Mars Desert and recovered to serve as a power reactor for the Kreisgard security base. The machine was taken out of the base by Mitsuzuki August during the Galahorn assault. CGS, now Tekkaden, continued to improve the suit with parts and armor taken from defeated Galahorn mobile suits. Taiwan's technicians later restored the Barbatos to its original appearance and close to its original performance, which is awesome. And the Hashmal is a freaking terrifying mobile armor, by the way. You have to fight it in GB4 as a boss, and oh boy, does it suck.
Yeah.
Though I would say there's much more like harder bosses in GB4 than the Hashmal. I would say what's the one from 8th MS team? that giant Zaku. I know
Oh,
you know what
no.
I'm talking about, right?
I know exactly what you're talking
That
about.
one's a pain. I hate that
It was
boss.
awful, but I don't remember what it's called.
And personally honest, this is a tangent here. I'm shocked they didn't use the Psycho at all as a boss, as a big boss. They did not use the Psycho at all,
I didn't
which is
think
very
about that, but
surprising.
yeah,
I'm shocked that we didn't get the
that's very
Psycho,
weird.
because that would have been a perfect thing to do for the Psycho. And so the giant
More DLC.
Here, right? Give us more DLC. Yes, please give us more DLC. I still need to finish the DLC. So,
Trying to
following the
quickly
defeat
find
of
this.
the what of
The
the
Apsaras.
Asparis, that's what it is. Yes, it's a giant Zaku
This was awful.
ship thingy, and it sucks as a boss. It's terrible to fight. All the other bosses are perfectly I can easily deal with. That one specifically, though, is a pain in the rear end. Anyway, moving on. Following the defeat of the Brewer's space pirate, Barbatos spare parts were used to transform the ASWG-11 Gundam Gussin that Tekkadan had obtained from space pirates into the ASWG-11 Gundam Gussin remake. After the Monton Company offered their alliance to Tekkadan, the group gives them spare parts for Gundam Barbatos as a gift. These parts were used in Barbatos' subsequent forms, proving to be handy during the atmospheric entry battle and the subsequent battles on Earth. On Earth, the battle at Millennium Island with Carta's Issues forces resulted in Barbatos losing his shoulder armor and then replaced by those of a defeated Grey's Ritter. It was upgraded with the new waist boosters en route to the Edmonton. Tekkadan met with Carta's forces again, and they were quickly dispatched by the Barbatos. At the outskirts of Edmonton, the Barbatos and Tekkadan, other mobile suits, spent 3 days fighting the Chorus Sinja's forces, and Ataman garrison forces was extremely reinforced by Galileo Bondman's ASW G66 Gundam Kitamis Trooper and N. Dalton's EBAX2 Graz N, and the Barbatos was subsequently locked in a fight with the former. With the help of the McGillis Farid and his V081228 Grimrid, Mizuzuki and the Barbatos escape from the Kitamis Trooper and heads to the city, where it stopped the Graz Inn from killing Claudia Anna Bernstein.
Cordelia.
Cordelia. God damn. Yeah, that. Cordelia. Sorry.
Also, by the way, the McGillis's suit, which we'll get to eventually, it looks like a freaking bunny, and I love it.
Which one was it?
McGillis, the last one. The V08.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
It looks like a bunny,
ears.
and I love it.
It has bunny ears. Yeah. During the fight with the Graz Inn, Mizuzuki was pushed hard in order to win. He sought more power from the Barbatos via the Anya Vignana system. The system responded and improved his reaction speed, leading to Barbatos having better movements. The Barbatos' shoulder armor and backpack were later ejected as decoys, and the suit managed to slice off the Graz Inn's forearm after Mizuzuki mastered the longsword, the Barbatos' only handheld weapon left at the time. The Barbatos then won the battle after piercing the Graz Inn's cockpit, killing Inn. Which he was like. So the Graz Inn is also pretty messed up, because they used this pilot essentially as an experiment and made him become. They used his body as the core of the suit, and he is only that. Like, he can't eject out of it. He's like in like a weird like tank thing in the suit and is the suit.
Yeah. It's
He
really messed
becomes
up.
a
Because, like,
living
even though
ape.
he's a villain in the beginning, he's still a dude.
Yeah, and
And
you
then
do,
they
yeah,
do that,
you
it's
do
like,
feel bad
oh.
for, like, no one's a good guy in the show. Well, besides obviously like Tekkadan, I would say are probably the closer to they're more closer to the good guys than anything in the show, and but they do pretty bad stuff.
Yeah.
Even
Especially
after the show
considering they're
ends.
kids.
Even after the show ends, where they assassinate somebody.
Oh,
So after the Battle of Edaman, the Gundam Barbatos participated in numerous battles for Tekkadan. However, its community damage soon proved too much for Tekkadan's mechanics to repair. Thus, it was sent alongside the Gundam Gusen Rebake to the MS Workshop in Saisi to receive an overhaul, becoming the ASW G08 Gundam Barbatos Lupus. Yeah. Which is
is also
a
cool.
whole different mobile suit.
And then you get the Lupus
oh,
Rex.
Boy. Oh, yes. Is that one on here specifically? I'm looking through the page here. See if that's separate.
Lupus Rex is one that has its own page.
Does it really?
It does.
Okay,
Lupus
so
Rex and Amazing Barbatos Lupus have their own pages.
Okay, Barbatos Lupus doesn't have a whole lot of info. So we could
the
probably
other ones don't either.
We can probably do Barbatos Lupus and Lupus Rex in one episode.
Most likely, yeah.
Yeah, we can easily do that. We might do that next week. We'll see. The Lupus and Lupus Rex is awesome.
I love it.
All right, and then last but not least, we do have some notes and trivia. Barbatos is the 8th demon of the Ars Goetia, which is the Book of Demons.
Or the Lesser Key of Solomon, which has 72 in it, which is why there's 72 Gundam frames.
Yeah, each Gundam frame is named after said demons. So, Barbatos being one of them.
It's a cool way of doing it for this show.
Paimon. Paimon's
Yeah. There's a lot of them.
So you're saying Genshin Impact's little companion is
Yes.
named after a demon?
Yes.
That's terrifying. Beleth,
Grimoire.
Person, Asmodeus, Vine, Balam, Zagon, Bliel,
Astaroth.
and Barbatos is technically Barbatos is the one of the dukes.
Yes.
Of demons.
There's a lot of dukes, and they're all like out of order on this list, but
yeah, because it's on Wikipedia. It's all out of order. It's but whatever. So on page 16 of the book, Mobile Suit Gundam, Iron Blooded Orphans, Mechanics, and World 2, it is speculated that Gundam Barbatos and Gundam Florius might have been the same team during the Calamity War, as both machines were discovered later on Mars.
Florius has a lot of guns on it.
I don't know. Oh, God, what the hell is this thing? Iron Blooded Orphans piloted by Norba.
It's in the anime in the second season, too.
Why don't I remember this one?
I don't remember it either. So I'm going to have to go back and
There's a
rewatch
lot
the
of
second
weapons,
season.
right?
It's got railguns and machine guns. It's got a railgun on each shoulder and a machine gun on each hip.
Yeah, it's good for combat. That's for sure. Yeah, it's short-barreled cannons and railguns. It's great stuff. Great stuff. But yeah, that's all we have for Barbatos. But yeah, we might do Barbatos Lupus and Lupus Rex next episode, just to finish off Barbatos, because it's Barbatos.
And what better time to do it than right after we talked about the base?
Right? Exactly. See, it's a win-win. But yeah, fun stuff. Fun stuff. So, any final thoughts on Barbatos?
It's awesome. But
It's awesome.
I don't have anything else.
You can
really.
build Form 1, 4, and 6 in GB4.
And then I think Lupus and Lupus Rex are both in it,
Lupus
too.
and Lupus Rex are both in there. I can't remember how many versions of Barbatos there are in GB4.
I also have, I want to say Form 4 or 5 on my shelf behind me.
Oh, do you really?
From Gundam Base.
Oh, that's right. GB4 Barbatos. There we go. All the kits you can find in GB4. Let's see here. Gundam. Oh, sweet. These are all divided by series, which is super nice. And there's so many in Mobile Fighter finally. Thank God. Actually, they don't have all of them on here. Where is it? Oh, I see what they did. They have it in release order. Okay, so you have Barbatos 4th form, 6th form. You have the 4th form and 6th form, Lupus and Lupus Rex for Barbatos. Because there was really no point in just doing the first 1, 2, and 3. Because there's
first
really
one didn't
much,
really have much to it.
No,
Yeah.
there's nothing to it, and there's no armor. There's no point. So, yeah, cool stuff. I wonder. Oh, they don't have the DLC kits on here. That's why. There's they added a bunch of stuff for DLC. So yeah, it's cool. Go get GP4. It's awesome. It's fun. You can build your own version of Barbatos if you wanted to. You could do the Barbatoros, which is
I did that.
Did you really? You could use Fun Psyche's
I didn't build
body.
Barbatoros. I did build. I need to do that. I did build my own version of Barbatos.
Oh, okay. I see.
I do need to do.
Because Barbatos is awesome. It's great. It's a very unique design, but it's really, really cool.
It's hard to combine pieces of other suits with it because it's got such weird dimensions.
Yes, that's true. Barbatos has a very unique design to where it's not your typical mobile suit look at all. And now, honestly, that's majority of all of Iron Blooded Orphans. The designs in in Iron Blooded Orphans specifically were much, much different from your typical like Gundam series. So
yes,
but yeah, it's cool stuff. But anyway, thank you for listening to the Gundam Lorecast, and remember, pilots, stay safe out there. You can find us on the Robots Radio Discord at robotsradio.net, the Ben and Friends podcasting Discord, where you can share how you got into the Gundam series, and you can even find us on Twitter at Gundam Lorecast, and even email us at gundamlorecast@outlook.com.